Welcome, Ellwood City sports fans and Ellwood City community, to the Ellwood City Sports recording studio. My name is Brad Windhorst, alongside Thad Sturgeon. Thad, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Doing great. It was a not as busy week as we thought it would be for Ellwood City Sports, but we do have some things that we're going to go over here. It was a big weekend. And we'll get into it more later. Obviously, there was no football game last night, but we had college football going on all day today. We got a NASCAR race tonight. We got a NFL. I guess it started Thursday night. We'll be starting here, kicking off big time tomorrow. So a fun weekend in sports, and we're going to review this past week of Ellwood City Sports here in the upcoming minutes.
And then on top of it, this past week has kind of been a little bit of a slow week for Ellwood City Sports. This upcoming week, wow, there are a lot of events this week. Monday last week, we didn't have any events because of Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
This Monday, 5. And in fact, you got 5 events Monday, 5 events Tuesday, 5 events Wednesday, a little bit of a break on Thursday and Friday, and then you got 3 big events for a lot of tournament stuff over the weekend, albeit a lot of events coming up. And we'll be covering all of that on our website. If you check us out on our website, www.ecwolverines.com, we have stats, standings, the whole works, including this show and all of our past broadcasts throughout the Ellwood City sports seasons. So the first thing we're going to talk about, we're just going to go right down the line. We're going to try and keep this as short as possible, about a 30-minute show. We tend to run over because we do kind of leave it open. If you want to leave comments, we're running the comments in the live chat, so if you leave a chat comment there, we'll try to reply back to it. We did have some technical difficulties at the end of last week's show, so we do encourage you to put stuff in there and let us know what you guys think, what's going on. At the same time, during our 2 spotlight interviews during tonight's show, we will post the live poll on our YouTube live chat page. We'll give you guys about 10 to 15 minutes to respond to that poll, and then we'll give the results when we come back. All right, so first up is cross country. Cross country, they always start off their season. A lot of your sports start out of conference. What cross country does is a lot of tournament-based events, meaning they go to certain locations. And the first event was the 49th Cal University Marty Ewer Invitational. This is the first time I've known about it and knew about it, so it was great to actually know that because they do it for the 49 straight years. And that was last Saturday. The main event there was primarily for the boys. It was a boys invitational, and the boys' results were pretty good. We have all the stats on our website underneath co-ed. The primary guy was Mr. Anthony Spatafor. He placed 64th out of, I want to say it was like 300-some boys.
Yeah, it was like 330, I believe it was.
Yep.
Just looked there quick.
Yep. And then on top of that, the 30th Big Red Cross Country Invitational, that was this Saturday. In fact, the results came through right around noon to 2 o'clock this afternoon, so that's fairly fresh. They had the boys and the girls there, the co-ed cross country. The Ellwood City team overall finished 17th. Which was pretty darn good.
The boys team. Yes, the boys team.
Yep, pretty darn good. Once again, the primary result for the boys was Anthony Spatafor. He finished 43rd.
Great.
So he did improve on that 64th finish. And then we want to give a little shout-out to the girls-wise. Avalise Custer, she finished 148th. With it being co-ed cross-country, there's not necessarily a cross-country girls team, but they do have a couple girls competing that they'll compete individually. So, Thad, when is their next event?
Their next event is going to be on Tuesday at 3:30 at New Brighton, Neshannock. It's going to be at New Brighton, but 3 teams will compete.
Yep.
Ellwood City, New Brighton, and Neshannock. So
yeah,
we'll look
usually
forward to that event on Tuesday at 3:30.
Right. Usually they go and do some kind of try event or something like that. So next up on our event for tonight is football. If you're checking this out on our website, we're going right down in order. Football's up next. As Thad alluded to at the beginning of the show, there was no game this week, unfortunately, due to COVID. I don't know how you want to call it, but just due to COVID
right.
and the nature of the beast.
Contact tracing, those type of things.
Contract tracing.
And so the game was canceled, and they knew that pretty early on. That
They
was
did.
probably the beginning of the week.
Yes.
That they knew that was going to play Shenango,
Yep.
and this past week, and it did not happen. We did not have a show last week because of Labor Day and some other things going on. So we'll maybe just touch on their first game. That was against Union, a pretty good Union squad. Probably better than what we expected it was going to be once we got there to see them. Just 22 on that team, but excuse me. The Wolverines did get beat, and maybe it was good. I was talking to one of the parents. I'm like, maybe it's good they had a week off,
Right.
but maybe they wanted to get back out there and hit somebody again to get that Union loss, because that was a tough loss. The yardage was very lopsided.
Yeah.
394 yards for Union, and just 38 yards on 32 plays for Ellwood City. They managed just one first down in that game.
And that was a week after Union went and defeated Mohawk. I think it was 41-25.
Yeah.
At halftime, Union supposedly, I have to go off record on this one. I think Union supposedly only had 3 offensive yards in the first half because they I think
it was rushing yards.
Okay, rushing yards.
It was rushing
yards.
Yeah,
I know they didn't eclipse that 100 mark in that first half. They had a punt return, a kickoff return. I think they had an interception return. I think that's how all 3 scored. It was like 19-0 at halftime.
After watching them play, they're an opportunistic team.
Right.
And they can jump on mistakes.
Yep.
And, hey, we follow all but a single-A school. We left their Union Field that night.
Yes.
Thinking it was a pretty good football team. At the same time, knowing that our team needed to get back to some basics and get some things done.
And Union is not a pushover team, like we were saying. They played last night in actually one of the better games at that non-conference level. Both 2-0, Neshannock and Union came in. Union held with them right before halftime, and that's when it kind of gone one-sided.
Yeah. I think the Neshannock coach, it's time to take the Lamborghini out of cruise control.
Yes.
And they turned it on in that second half. And we'll be talking about Neshannock here in the upcoming weeks, because our next game for the football varsity team will be Friday at 7 o'clock. So it's a home opener.
Yep.
So it's with the game last night being canceled, we're in here on Saturday night. Be at 7 o'clock against the New Brighton team that's coming in at 1 and 2. The conference is all, I don't know if you have the standings there, if you'll get to them or not. No one's really took the lead in this in our conference.
What we got to remember too is it's out of conference games.
The game's right.
So until we go in-house, out of conference right now, you could indirectly say that the MAC conference may be one of the weaker of the 2A sections, but when we get into in-conference play, that's when we'll start seeing.
Well, and I think we may see this. We've seen this other years past. A lot of evenly matched teams that really find themselves beating each other up.
Right.
And then we come in here week 8 and week 9 and say, okay, someone's going to sneak in just by beating somebody. Right. Down toward the wire toward the end. Right. So,
and if you are looking at those standings, the 2 teams that kind of have separated themselves a little bit, shall we say, Neshannock and Laurel are both 3-0 out of conference, and then after that, you've got 3 teams locked for those 2 positions because they take the top 4 for playoffs. 1 and 2, I believe it's New Brighton, Mohawk, and
Riverside.
Freedom.
I'm sorry.
And then at bottom end would be Beaver Falls 0-2, Riverside 0-2, and then Ellwood City at 0-1. Now, we talked a little bit about that Beaver Falls.
Beaver Falls did not play last night.
Right.
Was that a COVID situation as well?
That was a COVID situation as well.
And and I don't know if it was Beaver Falls that had the COVID or the other.
Yeah, it was Olsh.
Okay. Oh, that's too bad.
I know.
Wilmington, I don't know if you saw in the media or not.
Yep.
Wilmington played Beaver Falls. It could have been a rematch.
There were so many of them.
I think the Beaver Falls thing came on right at the end. Wilmington traveled just shy of 200 miles. Wow. To play a football game on the other side of Ohio. So that game was this afternoon, maybe even going on right now. So
crazy.
So yeah. COVID's rearing its ugly head once again, but we're still got fans in the stands. So next Friday night, find yourself at Helling Stadium as our Wolverines take on the New Brighton Tigers.
Lions.
Lions.
Lions,
that story
Tigers, and
goes way
Bears.
back. Yeah, that goes way back. I spent a whole game one night calling them the New Brighton
Lions.
And,
Or Tigers.
the
We can't even figure it out
Yeah,
now.
we can't. But you don't want to mix up Beaver Falls and New Brighton's mascots. And I spent a whole game doing that. And we heard about it.
We did hear about it.
The comment section was full. So moving along, we'll talk about golf next.
Yep. Golf is one of our primary selections this week, as just like most of your non-contact sports, so golf, tennis, a lot of those in the fall start up real early, including cross country. Golf, we're already 7 matches in. They literally have hit half of their season matches already. They're at 6-1, 5-1 in conference play. It's kind of hard to keep up on the standings for golf because they don't necessarily have a separate website for golf.
Okay.
The non-contact sports, usually I can find these extra websites, like volleyball has their own site. Cross country uses, I think it's maxsplitpa.com. So I can get all this stuff. Fortunately, golf's a little bit harder. But we've been tracking this for the past 2 years, and I know with our interview with head coach Sam Barry, he even stated this is the most coverage they've had in his 19 years of coaching. Okay. So he said props to us for doing that.
Okay.
But their only loss so far was the Neshannock. I know. Coach Barry wouldn't want me to necessarily say it, but the thorn in the rose for Ellwood City for the past X amount of years is Neshannock. They have not been able to win at Neshannock. It's unfortunate that they have that one blemish, but right now it's pretty much going to be a neck-to-neck run down the last 7 games between Neshannock and Ellwood to potentially get that section win. They just beat Laurel this past week, 220 to 235. And I tell you what, if you want to talk about a spotlight, and that is actually going to be our senior spotlight tonight,
coming up here,
is Milo Sesti. We have these numbers here. In the first 7 matches, a 39, 36, 37, a 33, a 36. The one blemish at Neshannock, albeit 41 and then 38. If you look at all those courses, and I believe they're all par 36s, if you take and add that all up, he's only 8 shots over.
Wow, that's playing some
insane.
great golf. That's playing some great golf. And to let you know how the media is picking up on this, and I think the voting is over.
Yes, voting is
the
officially
voting
over.
is over, but Beaver County Times has their athlete of the week, male and female, and Milo was chosen to be in the final 4 in the voting for that. And you probably saw on our social media outlets throughout the week, vote for Milo. So I don't know if we got the results from that yet. I missed seeing that today.
I know when I officially voted as Ellwood City Sports on Twitter, when I voted, we were at 490-some votes, and the next one was about 300. He had about 42% of the votes.
Okay.
So it was,
So best luck for Milo to get that, and it's a nice recognition that
it is.
And I thought it was kind of neat that Beaver County Times did that. When you think Beaver County, all football all the time. And I know we were just week 1, week 2, but they recognize that. So keep up the good work, Milo. We see him on the golf course, and we'll see him on the basketball court here in the winter sports.
And their next match is this upcoming Monday, 3:15 versus Union. That's a good one, and that's at Delmar. And then they also have, I think, the next day or the 14th or the 15th, somewhere in that range, they do have the MAC team championships, and then they start doing the qualifiers for individuals. So that's coming up in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So some big stuff there.
Great.
Some really neat stuff for golf, and like we said, later on the show, we're going to be doing the spotlights for them. So up next is soccer. Thad, fill us in on soccer here.
Soccer right now, they're sitting there at 0-2, 0-1 in conference. And the soccer, they're struggling. There's really not it is what it is. They're a co-ed team, and we're co-sponsored with Shenango, which basically says we didn't really have enough players here in Ellwood. Shenango didn't have enough players. Well, they bring the two together, and didn't have enough for boys, didn't have enough for girls, so now we're co-ed. So we're great to see soccer being played, but we're seeing some growing pains with that process coming. New head coach, John Heineman. He was just hired here in late July, so he kind of came to the party late, but he did step up to do that. They had their 2 losses were very, very lopsided.
Right.
16-0 loss to Southside, and 25-0 loss to North Catholic. If you're on the WPIL Facebook pages, Twitter, those type of things, Ellwood City got mentioned a lot this week in regards to soccer, and I was glad to see a lot of people feel the same way I do when you're taking on a team like North Catholic. Can I say we know they find players?
Yeah, you can.
They get their players.
They recruit.
And any coach that would let that happen to get a 25. I see both sides, and we could blow all of our time here talking about this, Brad, so I get on a rant. I can see both sides. Well, tell your team to get better. It's 25-0. Oh, we got to let our guys get his stats. One kid on that team scored 12 goals in that game.
Yeah.
Okay, if any college in their right mind comes in and they're going to give some kid some big-time scholarship, and they don't take the time to look and say, you got 12 goals in a game on a team that's a new team that is co-ed, that is trying to get his feet going, co-sponsored, trying to get that going.
Yeah.
That kid deserves to go to that college. Yep. Let him have him.
Yep.
Because they're going to be thoroughly disappointed if they're going to think he's going to go and do that against an opponent at a college level. I don't mean to get on a rant.
And I'm not judging. I'm not judging, but I know because I actually watched it. We actually have the replay on our website for the Southside game. You can go on there. Southside uses NFHS, which is the National Federation of High School Sports. The only thing is to get to watch that, you have to have a paid subscription. I do. So that's the easiest way to get into it. So unfortunately, you have to have a paid subscription. When I watched it, I do know once that score hit 7-0 in the first half, they actually popped off the scoreboard. They left the clock up, but they actually blocked out the score.
Okay.
To kind of not to. It was a way to show a little bit of respect, saying, "Hey, the second half here, just play to have fun.
Right.
Don't worry about the scoreboard."
Right.
So,
and maybe they did that in North Catholic, and we got to move on because I'm going to get fired up.
When is the soccer's next match?
Game is Monday. Was that home or away with Freedom?
I think it was at Freedom.
It is at Freedom.
Up, and it was like, are you kidding me? Like, it is what it is. And it's funny because we talked about this with Coach DeBuono, the head coach for the tennis and for the girls, was they had to play Winchester Thurston.
Right.
Well, sure enough, unfortunately, that one I think they dropped that one, but they're going to have to make up 2 matches. So there are 2 matches. They're on our schedule on our website to be updated. I think September 16th and I think the 18th or something like that. So later on, they're going to make up a couple games.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So they're finding themselves 1-1 on the season, 1-0 in section play. And you spoke about that. In singles, Maddie McCommons bounces back and wins 6-1 and 6-1 to 6-0. I guess say love in tennis.
6-1, 6-0,
there we
6
go. 6-0.
Well,
I'm learning more about tennis doing this job against Beaver Falls. And recent match or victory was 5-0 over Beaver Falls with only 1 game lost.
And then only 1 game lost was by Maddie McCummins, who's your number 1. So it was their number 1 versus number 1. So, I mean, that's pretty nice.
She plays some pretty good tennis.
And I do know, and I will mention about it, probably not the last time. No doubt it's not the last time. Beaver Falls did have some COVID tracing, so they actually had to forfeit 2 of those, the third singles and the second doubles. They did have to forfeit. So Ellwood already was 2-0. And then they played out those 3. I know a couple individual fans actually tried to show up, and it was like 4:30. We were done.
Right.
Because of that. But talking about this, just kind of taking a little sidetrack, because I know Thad and I were just talking about sports, and every once in a while he comes in a little bit early before the show, and we kind of watch some sports. Right now I've got the Michigan game obviously out there and the NASCAR race. But how about U.S. Open, women's tennis, the champion, an 18-year-old girl. We're talking about high school,
right.
just graduated, 18 years old. It was actually, I think, an 18-year-old versus a 19-year-old for the championship.
Okay.
And I forget the name. I can't remember off the top of my head, but an 18-year-old won the U.S. Women's Championship tonight. So there's that. The next match for the tennis team is when?
Monday at 3:30 at Neshannock.
Nice.
So Monday.
That'll be a good one.
As always. And Coach DeBuono is very good about keeping you updated.
Yes.
So on our website, We'll have all the updates by Monday night, I'm sure.
Yep.
You'll have them.
Yep. And our last sport for fall sports that we're going to talk about this week is girls volleyball.
Right.
And they've got under a couple games of their schedule already, and they were there today at Moon. They had a Moon small MAC tournament. They had a couple teams there. I don't know if it counts towards the record or not.
I don't think it
doesn't.
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either.
Because it was almost like a not a double elimination, but
yeah, it's kind of like one of those ones where you just played to scrimmage without calling it a scrimmage.
Right.
So the volleyball team is 1-1. Most of their games on their schedule, and I think I have to go and look. I haven't actually looked at it compared to last year. Last year, most of your schedules for sports were all conference games. I think volleyball, there may be one or two. If not, they're all conference games as well.
I think most of them are.
I think they are because they do. It's that one sport where they do home and away in the same scheduled season. So they're 1-1. They opened up last Tuesday. Unfortunately, we were all at an obligation Tuesday night, so we were not able to do it, do the live stream for them, which we do apologize.
Right.
It's unfortunate, but we all have jobs, and then we also have obligations, so there's that. They opened up against Laurel, and it was pretty tough.
Yeah, Laurel is a very, very good team. Laurel's one of them schools, and I'm not there was Mohawk girls last year. I mean, they just have, sometimes you get this a 2A, 3A school where they get a class that comes through there that's just lights out athletic. Right now, Laurel's probably 10th, 11th grade class are athletes, and they're dominating in a lot of sports, and we'll probably see them in basketball, we'll see them in track, and we're seeing them right now in volleyball. Very, very good team, and I think it was maybe a little bit of a eye opener for the Ellwood City girls volleyball team coming off the great season last year. They open up against Laurel, who was ranked very high in a WPIL,
and if you look at the schedule last year, they had Laurel, I think, the second match in, third match in, and they did have trouble against them too. Now, they won 3-0, but they struggled against them. But we're talking about probably two teams, Laurel and Shenango. Shenango was the only team last year to beat them in a set.
And they're looking pretty good again this year.
They do look good.
And we'll see them. But the Lady Wolverines bounce back. Their Thursday night against Neshannock in pretty exciting volleyball. I was not able to make it to the game, and it was at Neshannock, and I get a text, we're getting killed. And then I get a text, we're playing a lot better.
Yes.
And it was some pretty exciting match for our Wolverines. They lost the first two steps, 25-27, then 25-23, and then bounced back to win the final three sets, 25-21, 25-23, and 15-13. So the three sets, they got thumped in the first set. Next set lost by 2, and then they won the next 3 by a combined total of 6 points. So I think it was a big, for a younger team, it was a big win to come out of there and bounce back. Girls showed a lot of perseverance by not mailing it in early.
And if you ever want to watch that one, we do have it linked on our website. Neshannock was able to live broadcast that. It was really, really good. I tell you what, you could even hear it a little bit in the fans. You could hear how it was like a halftime game versus your sets. It was a halftime game. The first half was won by Neshannock, and it just so happened that the back end, Ellwood City won, and they got a big win. And hopefully, these 3 sets is what's going to help them to kind of push them for the next 5 or 6 games. I think it will too.
I think so. And their next match is Monday at 7:30. At Union. That 7:30 is a varsity start. They also field a JV.
They do 6.
They also field a JV team. Being away, we're not covering that, but we are covering the home game Wednesday night, which you'll see here a little bit in the show. Our upcoming coverage is here for the week to come.
So our first live stream of girls volleyball will be Wednesday, and then our Friday night stream will be for football. So you can look on our website and our YouTube page. We'll have 2 live streams this week, and then some media stuff for girls tennis and co-ed golf coming up this week.
And as always, if you want the alerts, be sure to subscribe to our EC Wolverines YouTube page. We cannot stress that enough. If
Yeah.
you could, it would help us out to get to that 1,000 mark, and we're getting closer every day. So EC Wolverines YouTube page, subscribe, and you will get an alert every time we go on the air.
Right, and if you were watching your screen right now, there's two different places to get to that link or to go to. The two primary we always talk about is YouTube because of live streams. Everybody loves our live streams. But if you want your stats and information, if you go to ecwolverines.com, you've got your fall sports. We keep the winter and spring sports results from last year up until that session comes through. You've got the blog. You've got the Twiecs page, which is This Week in Ellwood City Sports. And then you got the W Zone, which, like, if you look at your screen right now, you can watch it on our website. Or if you just go to youtube.com, type in Ellwood City Wolverines, you're going to see a red button there. Just click that red button, and guess what? Now you'll get alerted every single time.
Very good.
So there you go.
So next up.
Yep. Our two spotlights.
Yep, our spotlight. Each week here on the Twix show, we're going to try to meet with a coach or somebody within the community, but right now it's been the coaches, and then also featuring a short interview with all of our senior athletes of our fall sports.
So this week we took a little bit of time out of our schedules to go and interview the golf end. We have one senior, and then we'll eventually come back and get the last four seniors on that team. We spotlighted senior Milo Sesti, and then we also have head coach Sam Berry. So head coach first, and then we go to the senior spotlight.
All right.
Hi there, Ellwood City fans. My name is Brad Windhorst, reporting live from Delmore Golf Course for Ellwood City Sports. Today we have the head coach for co-ed golf for Ellwood City, and that is Coach Sam Berry. Sam, how long have you been coaching for Ellwood City?
I am entering my 19th season. I've been coaching. I started my first year at the school. I was assistant to Amos Mazant, and then I took over after he retired, so 19 years.
Perfect. And we were talking about it kind of off the camera that there may be only one person that's got you beat for Ellwood City coaching, which we'll also be interviewing Coach, whether it be at the coaching level or did you play yourself?
Well, I was a high school golfer here for Amos, and then I played in college. And when I got hired, it just seemed like a natural fit, and Amos Mazant helped me out, and I went from there. And it's been here ever since. So
nice. With that being said, a great year last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. 9-3, I believe it was. I want to say something like that.
I think it was 10-2.
10-2. Co-section champs.
Yes.
So far this year, really good. 7-1, 6-1 conference record. With that being said, since we're kind of halfway through the season, what's your expectations from here on out?
Well, my expectations are obviously to keep winning. Right now we're in a good position to be able to make the playoffs, hopefully get another section title, which would be 3 out of the last 4 years, so that'd be an awesome accomplishment, especially for Milo, who was a 9th grader the first time around, now is a senior captain. So.
Yep. And with that being said, if you want to catch any of the stats from our regular season golfing as well as the upcoming WIPIAL individuals and teams, that is just around the corner. I think you said next week?
Yes. WIPIALs will be September 20th is qualifying for WIPIALs individually. Okay. So hopefully we'll have some people advance to the finals again.
Nice.
This year.
Nice. And we'll have that coverage on our website, www.ecwolverines.com. Last question, or last couple questions here. What would be your fondest memory? And this is a tough one because we had to think about this for 19 years.
Yeah.
What would be your fondest memory, or in general, your best thought about golf here at Ellwood City?
Well, I mean, like I said, for 19 years, now I'm to the point where these kids that I taught now are adults. They have their own kids. I see them coming up. They play golf still at the golf course. So I've got a lot of good friendships out of it over the years, and I can't complain. So it's been a good ride.
Awesome. All right. Any last thoughts? Any little things? Anything you want to do? Shout out or anything like that?
Nope. Just keep going. Good luck at EC Sports. So.
All right. Thank you to the head coach, Sam Berry, of the co-ed golf here at Ellwood City. Again, my name is Brad Windhorst, reporting live from Delmore Golf Course for Ellwood City Sports. Hi there, Ellwood City sports fans. My name is Brad Windhorst, reporting for Ellwood City Sports. I'm here with one of the 5 seniors for Ellwood City Golf, Milo Sesti. Ellwood City Golf has kind of been going through already before school even started. They're in their 5th match, and in fact, we're here after the completion of their 5th match. They just beat Shenango 215 to 236, for those who are keeping count. Ellwood City Golf now moves to 5-0 on the season. Milo, since we're talking about the senior spotlight here, how long have you been playing the sport golf, whether it was for the school or beforehand?
I just got into it late 8th grade, so wish I could have started a little earlier, but
hey, we like our late bloomers.
Yeah.
And for those who've been keeping track, Milo Sesti has been one of the lowest scorers for Ellwood for the past 2 years, and is a big leader with that first group for Ellwood City Golf this year. Now that we know how long you've been doing it, what got you hooked into golf?
my freshman year, Brock Baru and Jake Alberts, they just made me fall in love with it, just showed me the way, showed me how to grind on the course. Just
Awesome.
made me fall in love with it.
Awesome. And those were names that are very familiar with Ellwood City sports within the past decade. So some really familiar names, not only in golf, football, basketball, the whole works. With you being in golf, do you have any fondest memories since you've been with Ellwood City sports and golf?
Just that whole year, that whole freshman year when I first started, just made a lot of memories. And then those 2 years that we won the section championship last year, and then the 9th grade year.
Awesome. You're talking about section champs here. What are your expectations for the team and then also for yourself?
Team expectations, I want to get a section title with the team again. That will make it 3 out of 4 for my high school career. And then individual expectations, I want to place good, maybe like a top 5 at Allegheny, Whippeal individuals, and then make it to states and go from there.
Awesome. If you're looking at the schedule, 5-0 start, it's kind of promising that we're going to see not only Milo for playoffs, but the team as well. So that's a great opportunity for this year. Final note here, last question. Post-secondary school, or are you going into golf potentially at the college level?
Right now, I have a potential scholarship from Mercyhurst Lakers. I'm going up there next week for a little visit. And then if that doesn't work out, I'm also in the midst of talking with the Cal U coach on going for golf management and also playing for them.
Awesome. So it sounds like you've got 2 good opportunities there, which we're always glad to see. And hopefully the upcoming years, we have a really good alumni for Ellwood City Sports. Brad Windhorst for Ellwood City Sports, reporting live from Del Mar. Our first of 5 senior spotlights, Milo Sesti.
Welcome back to live action here. Certainly want to thank Coach Barry and Milo Sesti for taking some time with us here for our broadcast. We're doing them throughout the year, and you can always see them interviews at our website at ecwolverines.com.
Yep.
Going to wrap up here. Have some upcoming things for the upcoming week. Like I said, we got a lot of things coming up. It will always be updating at the website. But our next broadcast, a live broadcast, will be Wednesday at 6 p.m. That'll be a JV game, volleyball versus Freedom, followed by the varsity game at 7:30. So check out the girls volleyball team this coming Wednesday night, followed by Friday night, 7 p.m., the home opener. We're going to try the second time, the home opener for our Wolverine football team as they will take on New Brighton.
And just a couple comments or errors. There was an error in the show when we did our interviews. It was 6-1 golf team. A couple things there wise. And
Brad's OCD.
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
it just comes out. So
it
we
just
gotta
happens.
make that.
I'm going, and I make a mistake.
So.
Also, we run a poll during our live show. If you ever want to make a comment, what we're going to start doing probably in the next show is putting information on here about how you can contact us. You can email us questions, and then we will in return make you a little bit of spotlight of the show as well.
Right.
We just ended our poll on our live stream. We asked if EC Golf will repeat and get back-to-back titles. A couple people voted, and as what we've seen, it's a yes/no answer, and 100% said yes. So
I think it's going to happen.
It's going to come down to Neshannock, and if Neshannock has one loss, then all of a sudden
Do many
Ellwood comes
people?
in.
I've never been to a golf match. We'll wrap up here, but do many people go to watch?
Yes, I tell you what, it's usually the parents.
Right,
Uh,
but
which-
anybody can go. Can
Right,
they not?
you
I mean, it's-
anybody can go, and specific, and I'll give them a little bit of a shout out for Delmar. You can rent a cart right there. You have to be X amount of age. I think it's 18 years or older. I forget what it exactly is. If you're young. Not like me, I'm old enough. But if you're young enough, they may ask for your driver's license. But it's $8. It's $8. So it's kind of like going into an event, paying a ticket, and then going in. The difference here is you get a cart. You can go anywhere. You
Okay.
can literally go to the next hole. And what a lot of people don't see in the golf is they go by pairings. So 2 people for each team. So 2 and 2. And usually there's at least 6, if not 8 players. So 2, 2, 2. So you can go from hole number, they play the back 9. You can go from hole number 9 all the way up to 18 and catch up with
Okay.
everybody. So, yeah.
So good to know.
Yep.
People can go check that out. You got some beautiful weather coming up.
100%.
So you might as well try to get outside and enjoy it. If you're not golfing yourself,
Yep.
go cheer on our Wolverines.
All right. Thad, take us out.
I think that's everything, Brad.
Yep.
We thank you for tuning in tonight, and you can see this anytime during the week, or it's archived now. So take a look and for your viewing pleasure. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast as much as we've enjoyed presenting it to you. On behalf of Thad Sturgeon, Brad Winhorst, thank you, and have a great week.